Probability is something we talk about quite a bit outside the classroom. Maybe I want to know whether it'll rain tomorrow. And the answer might be that there's a 40% chance of rain. Or maybe I'm playing some game where I'm rolling dice. And I want to know what's the probability that I'll roll a 3. And that turns out to be 1 in 6. Mathematically, the probability of a particular event occurring is written as P of the event. And we could just use a number to describe that. So as you can see, probability could be written as a percentage. We could write it as a fraction, or just a plain number. But regardless, there's a particular range of allowed values for probabilities. If the chance that something is going to happen is 50%, then I'm going to describe that as equally likely or unlikely. If something has a 100% chance, that means it's certain. If there's no chance at all that something's going to happen, then it has a 0% probability of happening. And then we have a range of values in between these. Let's call this range between no chance and equally likely or unlikely. We'll call that the unlikely region. And the region up here between equally likely and unlikely, all the way up to certain, we'll call that likely. So all sorts of different numbers could fit in here. For example, if there's a 21% chance that something occurs, I'll call it unlikely. On the other hand, if there is a 4 out of 5 chance that something's going to occur, that's going to be likely. We can write equally likely and unlikely as a fraction, 1 out of 2, or as a number, 0.5. If something's 100% certain, we also can say that its probability is 1. If there's no chance, the probability is 0. And of course, if I write fractions, then as long as the number in the numerator is the same as the number in the denominator, 10 out of 10, for example, that means there's a 100% probability, or in other words, that the event is certain to occur. There are some numbers that are not allowed as probabilities. For example, sometimes people say in a sports event or something that they want you to give 110% of your effort. Well, 110% is not an allowed probability. Neither can you write a negative probability, negative 1/5. That's a value that's not allowed. This has been our very first introduction to probability. Next up, we'll talk about experimental probability and how that differs from theoretical probability.